This video will focus on Part 2 of Interest Groups and Social Movements, Economic Interests. Political scientists generally categorize interest groups by the issues they concern and who benefits from their activities. Interest group categories: economic, public and ideological, foreign policy. Groups that lobby for direct or indirect financial benefits for their members. Corporate and business interests seek policies benefiting specific companies or industries, e.g., MPAA and anti-piracy laws. Umbrella organizations, groups representing multiple industries, e.g., U.S. Chamber of Commerce. Organized labor interests focus on worker rights. Membership has declined from 35% in the 1960s to about 10% today. Legal challenges. Janus versus AFSCME 2018 ended compelled union dues for public employees. Agricultural interests lobby for subsidies and trade policies. Example: American Farm Bureau Federation, AFBF. Trade and professional interests represent specific occupations like doctors, lawyers, or engineers. Corporate and business interest groups are among the most influential and well-resourced pressure groups in the United States. They advocate for policies that directly impact a specific company's profitability or the broader business environment, such as tax reforms, deregulation, and favorable trade agreements. Business and interest groups also commonly advocate for policies umbrella organizations. These groups represent a broad range of industries and companies of all sizes. They provide a unified voice for the business community on cross-cutting issues like federal taxes and labor laws. Examples of corporate interests include U.S. Chamber of Commerce, the world's largest business organization, representing over 3 million businesses. In early 2026, it has focused heavily on highlighting the positive impacts of the Working Families Tax Cuts and the One Big Beautiful Bill Act, OBBBA. Business Roundtable, an association of CEOs from America's leading companies. Their recent Q1 2026 CEO survey shows high sentiment regarding capital spending and sales, driven by recent tax reforms and responsible deregulation. Industry-specific groups, these focus on the unique regulatory needs of a single sector. Motion Picture Association, MPA, lobbies for anti-piracy laws to protect copyrights. National Cannabis Industry Association, a newer group that encourages businesses to band together to change federal marijuana laws. Organized labor groups represent workers' interests, primarily focusing on wages, working conditions, and job security. While their influence has shifted, they remain a force in both the economy and political landscape. In the 1950s and 1960s, nearly 35% of all U.S. workers were union members. Today, membership has dropped to about 10% overall. There is a divide between sectors. Approximately 35% of governmental employees, police, firefighters, are unionized, compared to only 6% of private sector employees. Key organizations. Labor interests are represented by individual unions and larger umbrella groups. AFL-CIO, an umbrella organization of more than 50 labor unions, considered one of the most powerful interest groups in the country. AFSCME represents public employees at the federal, state, and municipal levels. Emerging sectors. Recently, unions have gained momentum in the service and gig economies, with notable organizing efforts at Amazon and Starbucks, as well as in the rideshare and bike-share sectors. Agricultural interests exert disproportionate influence despite their small population size. Furthermore, nearly every professional occupation has a trade or professional group focused on its specific interests. The American Farm Bureau Federation, AFBF, often simply called the Farm Bureau, is the largest general agricultural organization in the United States. Founded in 1919, it serves as a non-governmental, voluntary voice of agriculture, representing nearly 6 million member families across all 50 states and Puerto Rico. Key roles and functions. Advocacy and lobbying. The AFBF is a powerful lobbying group in Washington, D.C. and state capitals. It influences legislation on farm bills, trade agreements, environmental regulations, and labor policies. Professional associations represent the interests of individual professionals in a specific occupation. They focus on maintaining the prestige of the profession, securing licensing requirements, and influencing policies that affect their specific field of work. Members, individuals, doctors, lawyers, engineers, etc. Tactics, providing certifications, establishing ethical codes, and testifying before Congress on technical issues related to their field. Examples of professional organizations include American Medical Association, AMA, represents physicians and lobbies on healthcare policy and medical malpractice laws. American Bar Association, ABA, represents lawyers and influences judicial appointments and legal standards. National Education Association, NEA, the largest professional group union for teachers, focusing on education funding and school policy.